Hello again. So back with a small update. The first video was obviously quite big, so we'll go with this for now. So what I've done here is I've extended out a little bit using some cobblestone blocks. I managed to sieve enough stuff to make the transfer node and the world interaction upgrade, which is now in there. Well, they're not doing anything yet, but yeah, it took a lot of sieving to get all the electrotine dust to make the alloys, but eventually got that all done. Set that up. I've also crafted all the stuff for a smeltery. So they're real simple crafts. The main thing is to get these seared bricks. So in order to get seared brick, you have to put grout into a furnace. And in order to make grout, it's clay, sand, and gravel. And so yeah, so I had to make a whole bunch of clay and then make a whole bunch of cobblestone by punching the dirt and then using the hammer to hammer down the cobblestone into gravel and then hammering some of that gravel down to sand and mix that all together into grout, put it in the furnace and do all the crafting. So that, you know, is fairly straightforward. So after that, what I've done is I've set up here the crucible. So the crucible needs a heat source to needs a heat source to then melt cobblestone into the crucible and turn it into lava. So you can start with a torch which has a 1 times melting speed. Several different fuels have different speeds, all the way up to a nuclear bomb which has like a 450 times melting speed, I think. So the next one we can go for, or generally the next one you would go for, is the lava. So I could put a block here, put lava under there. I believe it's like 4 times, so it's definitely a lot quicker. But because of our sieving, we have 7 yellorium dust, and it takes 9 yellorium dust to make a block of yellorium, which is like 100 times or 200 times melting speed. So we'll be going straight to that. So I also made a hammer. So in the other chest, an engineer's hammer, right there. So that's just some sticks and some iron and a piece of string. So I did that, and then we can hammer the iron ore into iron plates, and then iron ingots into iron plates, and then the iron plates we can use to make the bucket. So once we made the bucket, we were able to take this water out. So now that water's gone, one of the first quests we do gives us a water florb. So florb is a fluid orb, and basically it puts fluid into a ball that you can then throw. So if you want to throw like poison and stuff at people, you can. This one just had water, so set up a 2x2 space and threw the florb in there, used the bucket to pick up that water source, put that in there, and then that creates an infinite water source, which means that we can pull water out of there and it will fill itself back up. So we needed to wait until we could do that with the hammer, and yeah, got that done. So what that means is next episode all of this stuff will be gone, because I can now take all this dirt and things down and then just work solely on this level, move the furnaces and the crafting table down as well. So I think last episode I was talking about whether to go to the island or start here or what do I want to do. Um, and I realized that with this piece of bedrock, we want that for the laser mining, the laser drill mining later on. So any base design that I do has to incorporate this block at least into a mining station. So we will need to do that. I have kind of calculated that. So I've set my render distance to 16 chunks. So that means that this area and this black circle, this is 16 chunks along. Say if we zoom out a bit, this should be 16 chunks tall as well. Now what I want to do is I want to have a base that is always loaded. So what that means is if I walk further than 16 chunks or further than 8 chunks, so half that distance, the radius, if I walk further than 8 chunks away from something, the server starts unloading it. So it only loads stuff that's within your render distance. So that means that my base could be no more than 8 chunks by 8 chunks, which is 128 blocks by 128 blocks. Yeah, as far as I know. But I think we can easily keep that in. Like, you can see how crazy close this island is. But then you can also see all the enemies on there. At least I hope you guys can see. It's going to be pretty crazy. I don't know how much of an island's going to be left by the time I get over there. So the problem is, if you start firing arrows over to kill things, if you hit a skeleton, that skeleton's then going to start firing at you, but they don't care if anything's in front of them. So they usually end up hitting something else like a creeper. That creeper then explodes, everything else gets triggered aggro, all the other creepers start exploding, it starts a whole chain reaction, you end up with no island. Which is not what I want, you know. Yeah. So I think, you know, like a 5 by 5 kind of thing. I'm just trying to figure out the design so that we can get the fluid cows going and farms for doing all the flowers and things, and just in a way that looks nice. And I don't want everything outside. I want to have like a big fungus cap that's growing flowers on the top of it, you know. It'd be pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see how we go with that. So yeah, so the next steps are, one we can take right now is to finish off this Cobblegen. So if we put the lava in there, that should start activating, yep. And what we're doing, we're just piping it straight into this chest. So no more punching the dirt. So we'll fill that back up. Now I've got plenty of cobblestone to start building out a platform, so I will do that. I put my smeltery on it. And people who already know how to build smelteries might have noticed that I've only got 6 seared bricks. Now I believe a 2x2, jeez, I believe a 2x2 is the smallest smelter you can make. I hope you can make a 2x2. I'm pretty sure you can. And so that'll use 4 of those seared bricks. Then we've got a controller and a drain and a tank, and then another 2 seared bricks. I'm hoping I can make the smallest one out of it, because I don't want to make any more clay and all that sort of stuff. I want to go through that. The other way to make seared bricks is to put cobblestone in your smeltery, and the cobblestone smelts down to seared brick. So yeah, I'm hoping to do it that way. But the first thing I need to do is I need to smelt down some gold or some aluminium brass to make the, let's go to the quest book, to make the ingot cast. And then that finishes that quest, but then we've also got all these other casts to do, which are going to happen very easily and in rapid succession, so we'll be able to do that very quickly. And once we've got those casts and I've smelted enough seared brick, we can make a nice big tall smeltery, and we will be using that to smelt down all our ores, because we have a little bit of stuff to do now. And obviously the next quest will be the automatic sieving, so we'll get that set up and try and just directly feed it into the smeltery and get that all processed, so we can just have a bunch of chests that have a whole lot of processed ore ingots, which will be nice, and get that process all set up so that we don't need to monitor it. So the main thing I think will be to have some checks on the chests for the level that they're full, and if they're too full to take any more ingots, then it turns off the sieves, so we're not backing up the whole system and the smeltery ends up with a whole bunch of crap in it and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, the other thing to think about is there are the alloy ingots, you know, like gold and silver makes invar. Do I want to be making a whole bunch of invar? Do I just chuck everything in randomly, and if they mix and create alloys, well then great, I get a bunch of alloys. If they don't, then that's cool too. But yeah, it's something to think about, the process and how we do that. I'm thinking right now it might be a bit of a more manual process, because I can always just, if I need a whole bunch of invar, I can then take all my processed gold and my processed silver and then re-smelt it back into the smeltery and make invar that way. So I think that might be the way to go. It'll be the simplest way to go. And if we set it up for mass processing with a chest feeding into the smeltery and it automatically smelting ingots and putting them into a chest, that we can just take like a couple stacks of gold and a couple stacks of silver and it'll slowly just process everything at its own pace. And we don't have to do much interference other than deciding that we wanted invar and how much invar that we wanted. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll do that. So the next episode will probably have all the smeltery and stuff working, and hopefully an automated system in place and a whole bunch of quests. So for now we've got 4 loot chests, so we'll go through these ones, and yeah, once we get those casing quests done, we'll have a lot more. Glowstone wall, no. Chance cube, no thank you. Oh my god, oh my god. This is pretty much the best loot chest that I could hope to get. I believe there's nothing better at this stage than this. Oh my god. Okay, so this armor makes me invulnerable, invincible. I cannot be hurt by things. I could go up against bosses, withers, they wouldn't be able to touch me. So that's pretty awesome, actually. Full armor, awesome. And a Zanite ring, which is nothing. That's okay. Oh my god, red matter armor. Oh, and I only know about this because of Iskall. I watch Iskall and he got this armor and he's like, it doesn't look that great. It says like protection 6 and protection 8, and he was looking at his diamond armor or whatever, his artifact armor, and it was kind of the same things, so you didn't realize. But a thing to see is note how these things have an EMC value. Now this is for Project E when you're melting things down into EMC and then you use the Philosopher's Stone, I believe, or one of those types of things to make any item in the game. You just need enough EMC to do it. And that's like highly end game thing to do. That's when you set up massive emerald farms and near the star farms and stuff, and you just try and generate EMC, and you don't need to do anything else because you can just pull out any item you want in the game. So this faucet has 33 EMC. A torch has 9. So this Zanite ring has 1024. This red matter chestplate has 3.8 million. So that shows you how much value is on those things. So yeah, anyway, I've never had the red matter armor before. Like I said, I've just seen Iskall with it, and he's gone up against bosses. You don't get damaged at all. It's just, if you fall, you die. You know, same that kind of way. But you cannot die in a fight now, pretty much. I might look it up to make exactly sure the kind of things that can still kill me, because I'm sure there are some things out there. And they do have durability, so it does. They do eventually wear out, but you should be able to repair them somehow. And they've got a ton of durability, I assume. So look at that, enough cobble to do everything. Oh yeah, one of the other things. So the first building material I will be building out of is coloured stone. So we've got these coloured stones. So to do that we need stone, we need the dye for the colour, and then we need a paintbrush. Paintbrush is easy, stick and string. Getting the dye is a bit harder. That will come when we get into making the flowers. So it's not crazy hard, it's just not something we can immediately do now. I need to set up a big platform of dirt and then grow some grass on it, and pick the flowers, and then use those flowers to breed them all, doing all that agricraft stuff, which, you know, is cool, and I'll do it. It just it's a big involved process. I wanted to get the smelting set up first, so that while I am growing a bunch of flowers, I'm getting stacks and stacks of resources coming through the smeltery, which would be nice. So yeah, that's an awesome way to end it off. We'll have a lot more loot chests to look at next time. We'll also have a smeltery. I might have even started to set up the passive mob farm, which is essentially put a big platform of dirt far enough away from you that animals can spawn on it, and we can start getting cows and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess in order to start my base, the first thing I need to do is first we smelt this cobblestone into stone. So I need to set up a furnace array to do that. And yeah, also breeding the flowers to get colours, and I have to come up with a design so that I can start doing it, and something that will hold everything I've got here. But yeah, we'll get that done, and there should be a lot more progress for next time, which yeah, I'm quite excited about, actually, to be able to start building this thing and try and see it taking shape. I'm sure I'm going to fail horribly at the start, but you know, it's Minecraft. You can always pull it down and start it back up again. Let's take that out, fill that back up. Yeah, cool. I don't think there was anything else. Oh, the juicer. So you might have noticed my apples have been replaced with apple juice. So apple juice, I think shift. I don't have an apple. We go to the apple, we hold shift, we can see it takes it fills up 2 hunger bars and 1.5 saturation. So the saturation, as far as I know, I haven't looked it up exactly, but to me it makes sense, is how long it takes until you get hungry again. Starry apple. Yeah, so the apple does 2 and 1.5. When we juice it, it does 2.5 and 6 saturation. So that was just some stone and pressure play. It's really simple thing to make. Just right there. So that's it for now. I'll leave it there and see you next time.